What's up, everybody? Jack Farr here on behalf of Box to Box Football, here with James, and quick kind of immediate reaction to a Nations League game. Recent videos come out recently where James and I have been talking about the fact that, yeah, Nations League doesn't really matter. Like some of the England results, okay, they've not been good, but we've lost by a goal. It's been a draw, whatever. I'm not really bothered by it. The players don't really seem to care. But I'd say it's quite remarkable that at home at Molineux in Wolverhampton, England have their biggest defeat since 1928, nearly 100 years of 4-0 against Hungary. James, I mean, I know that obviously, we have other things going on in life, and the Nations League, we're not full focus like we would be a Champions League final or a World Cup game or whatever. But I mean, I guess I want to kind of open this conversation up a little bit about what does this mean for England? Because you and I spoke about this recently, and I said to you, I wasn't really bothered by the past three results. Like the Hungary loss, I was a bit meh. It was just a penalty. I didn't really care. Germany game, Italy game, I was a bit like, didn't really mind too much. But James, 4 games, concerns for me, no goals. That's a problem. I don't care how little you, as a player, you don't care about a game. If you can't even score like we even see like Soccer Aid and friendlies and stuff. Usually, it's more of kind of a fun atmosphere, and you can be a bit more experimental and be a bit more expressive in your football, which usually lends itself to more goals. To not score a goal at home, I know Molineux's not strictly home like Wembley would be, but still in England. This is embarrassing. This is bad.
Jack, there's a few things that I want to point out here. I mean, we mentioned the fact players are tired, and I mentioned how many of them care and all that sort of stuff there. And when I really think about it, I call bull. I call crap to a lot of this stuff because, Jack, interestingly enough, today, if it wasn't for the fact that Qatar was changed, the World Cup would start on like Monday or something like that. So this is the same form that England would have carried into the Qatar World Cup if it was in normal conditions.
Motivation's different, though, right?
The motivation is different, but Jack, no matter what, you need form to go into these sort of tournaments. So I am worried there. I look at a team like France, talented team, but the fact that they haven't won the last 3 games, Jack, it is worrying. And then I hear they're tired, they came off a long season. The Germany players did not come off a long season. Did Hungary players not come off a long season? Did Italy players not come off a long season? That's bull. Everybody works in the same boat. Everybody plays the same amount of game. People might say intensity, but it's the exact same thing.
But that Nations League game for Hungary will be the biggest game of some of those players' lives.
Every goal, did you not see the celebrations from every goal that they scored?
My problem, James, fans pay for their tickets to go to games. The reason why England have started doing this touring thing, and I'm a big proponent of it, I'm a big fan, I really am. If you live in Carlisle, Newcastle, you're going to make the trip down to Wembley to watch a friendly or a Nations League game? Hell no. If it's on your doorstep, though, you might think about it. These guys are still paying hard-earned money to come watch you play football. You need to give them something. Something. Now, James, again, this has always been my opinion. Gareth Southgate is not a good football manager. Newsflash, everybody. Gareth Southgate is not a good football manager. Took England to a Euro final, fine. Did well in the World Cup, fine. He's not a good football manager. I don't know what to tell you. Show me any other part of his management career where you would go, man, he's really done a fantastic job at that place there, which has warranted him to then get kind of a promotion to a bigger club and lead a bigger team and have interest in a bigger organization. The vibe around England, and this is what we spoke about, is the best it's been, I would argue, ever. It really is. The players have fun. They love going to England. They love going. It's been the best, I would argue, ever, really. And, I think Joe Cole mentioned since Alf Ramsey. Now, I don't remember the vibe when Alf Ramsey was England manager, but the vibe is there. We need to now continue the same culture about the players enjoying playing for England. But, James, we have to up it in terms of a tactical. There needs to be some sort of rhythm of play here because I'm sick, James, sick. And you and I have known each other for a little while now. And I was mentioning this when we were talking in 2016 about stuff, in 2018 about stuff for England. I hate this pretending that we're this possession dominant, high passing accuracy, a high passing team that breaks down these low block teams. England aren't that way. They're not built that way. There's one football team in England where you can go, they do that, and that's Manchester City. There's a good amount of England players in that Manchester City team, but not enough to make a full 11. We need to find a way of playing that suits us and that fits us. Because, James, we get caught out, killed them in possession, completed passes, pass accuracy, shots. But, James, they had, what was it, 6 shots they had, 4 on target, and 5 shots on target. I think they scored 4 of them.
They had 6 shots, 4 on target. But I think the interesting thing about it, you mentioned Gareth Southgate isn't the greatest tactical manager. Do I agree with you? Yes, Jack. You know, we seen the difference in the Euros final where Mancini showed his tactical nous to kind of change it and like get Italy like a hold of the ball, where England was more or less of, oh, we're just going to bring on players instead of can we tweak certain parts of the actual game. But I feel like with England is that, Jack, don't get it twisted. There's going to be a huge backlash. I mean, listen, when England lose, goodness gracious me, it's like the world's about to end. And the fact that they lose in this sort of manner where they've been absolutely just humiliated, not only humiliated, not by a France, not by a Brazil, but by Hungary, there's going to be a lot of questions. But the one thing I'm going to say to you guys is that you got to stick by Gareth Southgate. They, like, no matter what, I know people are going to say he's not this, he's not that. But, Jack, for me, it's that Gareth's kind of told you guys what England are. This notion that England are this supremely talented team, like, as you mentioned, dominating this and that. No, you got some good players in certain positions, but you're not going to go ahead toe-to-toe with teams and dominate teams. Jack, I told you that. You know, it's just, to me, it's just not going to happen. So the way Gareth Southgate wants to play, where it's a bit more conservative, I feel like that's probably going to be the best thing England can do going into the finals.
But we didn't do that. We didn't do that against Hungary, though. I was sat watching the game with friends, James. We have a holding midfielder and we have 2 split centre backs sat on the halfway line trying to play football and trying to play around these guys. But again, tactical innovation, James, for Gareth Southgate is changing a winger and going fresh legs. He'll beat his fullback and put in a great ball. What?
That's spot on. That's probably. But Jack,
Sterling,
let me tell you this.
Sterling will come on.
But Jack, that just told you what England are. England aren't the team that are there to come onto teams and dominate, have 60, 80% possession and create loads of chances. No, that's not you. To me, you sit back conservative, have your 3 banks of have your 2 2 or 3 banks of 4, move side to side, and then when it's time to hit teams on a counter or is there spacing behind, that's where England are at their most effective. When you're told to break down an opposition, yes, you got talented players like Jack Grealish in Phil Foden, but they're not going to do for you at that sort of level.
Well, James, this is the thing.
That just won't cut it. Having them guys there, it just won't cut it.
If we're going to do that, then let's do it. Do you know what I mean? If we're going to do that, Man City, we're going to dominate the ball. We're going to even dominate the ball against Spain, we're going to go toe-to-toe against these guys because we're technically better and we can keep the ball. You need to do it. There are certain players who shouldn't be gracing your football field because they don't fit in with what you're trying to do. And again, it's square peg round holes. The style of play and the players being used is not the same kind of thing. And that's what's concerning with me. To me, James, leave him for the World Cup. Obviously, he deserves another shot to do something at the World Cup. And again, I do stand by this. In my lifetime, this is the best England manager that England have ever had in my lifetime. From a standpoint of the vibe around, his success first and foremost, but then also, the vibe around England and players wanting to be there and enjoying playing for England. But James, we have to get back to inside the white lines, playing better football than the opposition and being a force to be reckoned with. Because you mentioned it, James, we do have incredibly talented players, position per position. There are weaknesses, no doubt, but we have top 3s, top 5s in the world in their position in our starting 11. We do.
I'm not sure about that.
James, Harry Kane, Kyle Walker.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, at the fullback, but I'm talking about in the wide areas, center
Oh
like
no,
center
no.
midfield areas, center back areas, goalkeeping areas. Jack,
No,
you probably pick
no, but
one or
that's why I
two.
said it's only a couple. Like Jude Bellingham is going to develop and come on, right? Walker and Reece James and Trent. They might have all three spots to themselves
But
potentially. Kane, again, it's a couple of spots where you should be saying some of them with Kane the most important position on the pitch. But we're not. Yeah. Ugh.
but Jack, do you know what? England fans, if you do have the opportunity, go back and go watch England's game. I think in 2018 or 2019 against Spain, you won 3-2. And bear in mind, you didn't dominate possession, but that was the most beautiful and most clinical game I've seen from England. It was a perfect performance, but it wasn't a performance that you dominated, but you pick and chose your moments, and like you were able to go, I think 3-0 ahead against Spain. Spain ended up getting like a mini comeback at the end, but it was a fantastic performance from England, and they pick and choose their moments, and that's to me what England are going to do. Forget about this. Oh, we're going to be Liverpool. We're going to be Man City on the front foot. Forget about that.
Yeah.
If he does want to say, you know what, let's leave Trent out and let's play Kyle Walker or Reece James to be a little bit more defensive, it is what it is.
Well, James, and also anybody out there, and I'm sure there are some of you out there going, well, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's actually quite easy to implement. It really is. Now, for a start, that defensive line being on the halfway line, just drop it. Just drop it, right? Because what you'll notice, especially when the midfield then comes with it and the attack comes with it as well, and this has been proven across football. It's kind of a subconscious thing. They'll come out. They'll come out to try and meet the ball. Unless they're unbelievably well disciplined, they'll come out and try and beat you to the ball. There's more space. England are not good at operating in these smaller spaces, breaking down these teams. And James, not every shot is created equal. Not every chance created is created equal. Anybody can look at a stats sheet from any given England game and go, we had 12 shots. And when I tell you that, well, a lot of them were blocked and a lot of them were outside the box and a lot of them were telegraphed and the keeper knew where they were going, it's not the same kind of thing as tap-ins on the back post.
This is what and to me, people are going to say, but I mentioned the way Man City play, but we got Man City players like Sterling, Phil Foden, and Jack Grealish. First of all, Man City, there's a Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad. I can mention names after names after names, and two of them you can add right now, probably around the fringes of the Man City team. One of them is a guaranteed starter in like Phil Foden, but I just feel like with people is yes, it's a bad result, but don't rule England out of this World Cup completely. Jack, to me, there's still a chance of England winning the World Cup.
Oh,
But
I agree. But to
I
me,
think it's a thing where
it
well,
compounds. I don't want Gareth Southgate there after the World Cup. I don't. I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't. You know, t- comments about Graham Potter, comments about Mauricio Pochettino. I think his odds have been slashed now that he's going to be potentially leaving PSG. You know that there are managers out there who should be given an opportunity to come in who are potentially better tactically. That hopefully will continue the positive vibe that Gareth Southgate has created, but will also implement a way of playing football, a serious way of playing football.
okay, guys, we've been talking for a while. I would talk some more, but I'm extremely tired. But England fans, what do you think about this result? What does this result mean for England going into a World Cup? Please comment down below. Please let us know your feelings. And also hit that like, share, and subscribe button. This is Box to Box Football. And me and Jack will see you guys next time.